You were traveling through Egypt, got lost from your group, and ended up in an ancient pyramid. 3 passageways lie before you. The first leads to a room filled with gold. The second is hidden behind a stone slab with an image of the sun. And the third one leads you to a dark tunnel with a chilling breeze. Which pathway leads you to safety? Here's a tip. You should follow the beliefs of ancient Egyptians. You should pick the second path. The Egyptians believed in the power of the sun, so perhaps that's your safest choice. It's your first date with an archaeologist. He takes you to an ancient site and shows you the inscriptions marked on the wall of an old sacred site. You notice there are several numbers on the wall that form a sequence: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. But the other numbers are blurred. He asks you if you can figure out which numbers come next. Can you? The numbers that follow would be 13, 17, 19. This is a sequence of prime numbers, which can only be divided by 1 and themselves. A team of archaeologists discover 2 statues in an ancient city, but after a few studies, they uncover that one is a fake. One of the statues is made of marble, and the other is made of bronze. Both look flawless and untouched by time. Can you tell which one is fake? It's the bronze one. Real ancient bronze statues end up a bit greenish due to oxidation. So if this statue looks brand new, it means it's fake. It's quiz night and the theme is ancient Egypt. To win $100, you need to answer correctly. How many husbands did Cleopatra have during her life? 1, 3, or 4? It's believed she was married 3 times. Her first 2 husbands were her brothers, and the last was the famous Mark Antony. You're walking deep within the desert in Egypt when you come across an ancient building with 3 sand pits in front of it. Each pit contains a half-buried object. The inscriptions on the wall warn you that only the Pharaoh's gift will open the door to the temple. You see a golden scarab on the first pit, an ancient staff with the sun emblem on the second, and a stone Ankh tablet on the last one. Which sacred object should you pick? The ancient staff. That's because the golden scarab is a symbol of wealth, but it was often placed in tombs as an offering to the ones who passed away. The Ankh represents life, but sacred stone symbols in tombs were often part of protective magic. Touching them could trigger a curse. The sun plus the staff were symbols of power and authority of the great pharaohs. A time machine takes you back to ancient Rome. When you arrive at the door of an old temple, the guardian of the temple gives you a vase with the equation ix plus xi equals what written on it. It's your task to figure out the result. What's the answer, genius? The answer is XX, or 20 in our language. IX in Roman numerals stands for 9, while XI is 11, so the total sum is 20. You're at your best friend's house. She's a mystic and believes in the power of symbols. She asks for your help to choose the logo of her new company, based on ancient Egyptian beliefs. She asks you if she should pick a star, the moon, or the sun. What do you think she should pick? To have a prosperous business, she should pick the sun. In ancient Egypt, the sun represented the deity Ra. The sun represents vitality, warmth, light, and prosperity. You're doing your master's in ancient Greece, so you take a semester to go abroad and study the culture closely. One night, during a fancy dinner party, a professor challenges you. She makes you choose one out of 3 cups. The first cup is labeled with the symbol Psi, and it's a drink used in sacred rituals. The second is O, and it's the drink of rulers and kings. The last is L and contains river water that leads to oblivion. Which cup should you choose to gain more wisdom for your masters? The first one. The Greek letter Psi is a symbol often associated to the psyche, which can probably reveal great things about one's inner world. Your archaeology group decides to explore a long-sealed resting place. When you enter the main chamber, you discover an inscription that says that whoever touches the serpent's sign shall know eternal sleep. What must you avoid touching in this place, explorer? Well, you should never touch the cobra symbol. In ancient Egypt, the cobra was a protector of the pharaoh, but was also associated with some pretty hardcore curses. This term's history test is filled with questions on ancient civilizations. To get an A+, you need to answer this one correctly. Which of the following monuments was built first? The ancient Sphinx, the Tower of Babel, or Machu Picchu? The Great Sphinx of Giza. It dates back to around 2500 BCE. The Tower of Babel is mentioned in ancient texts, but has no confirmed historical date. And Machu Picchu was built much later, around the 15th century CE by the Inca civilization. Your crazy scientist friend let you use his time machine, but it was led by an AI that made you answer a question before using it. It told you that to travel to ancient Egypt, you needed to know which of these things the Egyptians weren't masters of: architecture, mathematics, astronomy, or golf. Can you guess? It's golf, of course. Ancient Egyptians were master builders and mathematicians. They were also readers of the sky, but they hadn't figured out golf yet. You find yourself in Crete for a family vacation. You decide to explore an ancient labyrinth, and you come to an intersection. The first path is marked by a bull's head. The second is carved with a spiraling seashell. And the third leads to an open doorway, but there's smoke coming out of it. Which path should you choose? The second one. In ancient Greece, the civilization of the Minoans revered the sea. The spiral pattern represents life, eternity, and spiritual energy. So I bet that's the way you should go. You were watching a movie with your friends about the Great Sphinx of Giza when you spotted some serious factual mistakes. The movie said that the Sphinx lost its nose after a heavy thunderstorm, but you know that it's not sure. You ask your friends to pick one of the most popular myths regarding the Sphinx's ripped nose, asking them if it was either Napoleon's doing or an angry man's fault. Which of these is the correct answer? One of the biggest myths says it was Napoleon who destroyed the Sphinx's nose. Your favorite barista is feeling funny today and asks you to answer a history buff question. If you had to travel back in time and choose the civilization that built their cities first, who would you choose? The Mayas in Mexico, the Mesopotamians in the Middle East, or the Romans in Europe? Since you're a genius, you said the Mesopotamians. The first city they built was called Eridu. and it was built around 5500 BCE. Your archaeology teacher asks you to go to the public library to find a rare document. You ended up finding an old inscription talking about a ruler named Augustus. Based on his name, do you think he belonged to the Mayan civilization, the Minoans, or the Romans? He belonged to the Romans. Augustus was the first emperor of Rome, genius! Your friend accidentally time travels to an ancient city where people are speaking Latin. To find them and bring them back, you need to figure out where they are. On the top of your mind, you think it can be Athens, Rome, or ancient Babylon. Which city do you look at first? Rome. Latin was the language of the Romans.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.